Hey there, cats and kittens and children of all ages. This is Culture Doom. It's episode 329. My name is Alex.
And my name is Brendan.
And Brendan, tell us what a bunch of two old fogies from the early 80s are looking at right now.
Well, so Alex sent over as we started talking today. I was complaining about iPhones. I was complaining about being alive in the year 2020, and he sent over a graph of the time. He sent over a timeline of the decline of Western civilization in the context of pop culture milestones. So, for example, we start with Malcolm in the Middle finale.
Yep.
I didn't watch Malcolm in the Middle, frankly, but did you?
I watched it. If it was on TV on Fox on like reruns, I might catch it because, I mean, I really didn't sit down and want to watch it, so I would say no. I didn't watch it when they were first broadcast. I would watch it when they were on basically syndication.
So yeah, I didn't Fox. Like the first couple of these, Malcolm in the Middle and 70 show. That 70 show, they were in the periphery for me. I didn't really care about them, but I knew of them and I was aware of pieces of it. Last episode of Chappelle's Show, that was a big one.
Yes. I have the box sets, the collections, not the third season, which nobody really wants, but yeah, I would. That was definitely, I would watch that and South Park. I think they were on the same night.
I just mean the fact, the circumstances of Chappelle's Show final episode and how it wasn't supposed to be the final episode.
Right.
Until he fled to Africa without telling anyone.
Yeah.
Let's see. PS1 discontinued.
That's amazing lifespan because it came out like in what, 94, 95 or something like that?
It would have been before Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ask Jeeves kills, or Ask.com kills off the iconic Jeeves character.
I don't think he was iconic, but not as iconic as Clip.
You know what I picked up while I was at my mom's house over Thanksgiving?
Windows XP?
No. I picked up a giant stack of Yahoo magazine.
Ooh.
Like maybe 20, 40, well, that's a big difference, but let's say 30 issues of Yahoo magazine that I had a subscription to when I was an adolescent in the early 90s. And I have to go through that. And there's plenty of Ask Jeeves advertising in those magazines.
Do you remember those types of magazines? They would actually come with like software promos and like...
I mean, Yahoo didn't, but I know what you're talking about. Like PC Gamer would have demos.
Or Electronic
IGN.
Gaming Month. EGM. Sorry.
Oh, EGM.
Game Pro.
Yeah, like those. And that, like, there was I got Maximum PC a lot, which was more of a hardware review. But they would also have utilities and demo stuff on there for PC software. But those magazines always cost like $13.
Yeah,
it was hard. I'd have to like try to sneak it through at the supermarket with my mom.
Yeah,
where it'd just be put it with everything, like the entire collection of groceries, and try to sneak it by.
Yeah,
and then
it was basically like parents trying to get a parent to buy something for them was basically like some dude at like the Defense Department trying to sneak through like this budget requisition past like accounting, be like, yeah, we just this other type of thing we want to buy. Yeah.
But you bury it in a different bill.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, and then walking to the gas station, my mom would be like, "That magazine costs $13," and I'd be like, "Oh wow, I did no idea." That's how I got a bunch of Half-Life user-made levels, which I still have to this day. Actually, I've got them copied off from PC Gamer or whatever. Invader Zim, no idea. That wasn't on my radar at all.
Not at all, nope.
A series of unfortunate events. See, this is bordering on Zoom.
Yeah.
This is Zoomer territory.
Yeah, some of this is Zoomer. I mean, there is some overlap of
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Gen X.
Get the fuck out of here, Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
Yu Yu Hakusho. Yu Yu Hakusho was like in the 1989 in Japan.
But it's based upon whenever it was aired on Adult Swim.
I know. Lupin the Third aired in the United States?
Yeah, the series. Yeah.
On what?
Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, Yu-Gi-Oh. Lupin and Hakusho were both on Adult Swim, along with Inuyasha
When was Lupin the Third on Adult Swim?
during the weeknights.
I had.
It was in the early 2000s.
Yeah, but that's when I had Cartoon Network. I remember Yu Yu Hakusho, and what was the one with the not Rurouni Kenshin. The one with he was like in a red outfit and had pink hair or something. Inuyasha.
Oh, Inuyasha's right there. Yeah, that was very popular. That was one series I actually kind of wanted to watch because I like a lot of Japanese folklore and spirit type of stuff.
I tell you, here's the thing.
Here's
the thing, Alex. I never watched it, but the big red flag was that a lot of American white girls were into it.
Oh, really?
And that's a big red flag. They were all cosplaying at Anime Central. All the white girls were dressed as Inuyasha.
And now they're not.
Well, now nobody is dressed as anything because of COVID.
I know, but here's the thing. A lot of these anime series, they're hot for 1 year at cons and then they disappear. You remember D. Gray Man? There was that 1 year D. Gray Man was humongous and then
that was such a random popular show, though.
Exactly.
That's like, I mean, Naruto was big for a while. Like, there was a good 5-year span.
Yeah.
Where Naruto was everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you'll still find them. It's just like you find like a random Masato or, Ray
or Asuka.
Sure, yeah. Or there's always somebody who shows up from an old popular show. Mm-hmm. And then everyone wants to take a picture with them. And you know where all the cosplayers are now? TikTok
or OnlyFans. Or both.
Well, those are two, yeah. Those are two different markets, I guess.
They promote their OnlyFans on TikTok or their Twitch channel. So.
You know what I was thinking about? As someone who doesn't use TikTok, it's interesting.
Talk to the other guy who doesn't use it.
Well, it's because the clips you would see when TikTok first came out, like the hit or miss girl.
Yeah.
Was it Nyan Nyan Chan or whatever her name was?
Yeah.
That stuff seems so much less annoying now
compared
to what TikTok has become, which is really bothersome, shallow politicking.
Virtue signaling, yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck happened there? That's so weird.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Yeah, gone is the days of innocent TikTok.
Yeah, I liked it when that one girl was calling the other girl a whore. That was a much more entertaining platform. Yeah. Now it's just
too
just
corporatized.
bi guys yelling at straight guys to be more sensitive. What's that guy who's like, he's like when I see
the one with the glasses.
When I see a guy respecting women. Well, it's like he'll be on a sex offender list in no time. I mean, there's no way.
He's gonna have a seat.
He's gonna get caught butt fucking a boy in a shower in high school at some point. Come on, get out of here.
Jerry's kids. What else do we have here? Bubbly computers in schools, which both of those are Mac computers, which is funny.
Well, they never. I mean, when other yeah, that's not true either. This is a little.
There's a little iffy. There's some leeway here.
This, Alex, I'm looking ahead in this list. Mm-hmm. This is a disaster.
The Bernie Mac show airs.
This whole list is now under suspicion.
Last year of extreme culture.
We did not have iMacs in grade school.
I had an Apple IIe in grade school.
That's not the same thing as an iMac.
Yep,
Alex. Green and black color scheme. Display does not qualify for a 32-bit color.
Yeah.
Bunch of bullshit, Alex.
Yeah, some of these things are like Alias. I don't know how many kids were watching Alias back then. Roger Ebert leaves at the movies for medical reasons, obviously.
Yeah, to die.
Crunk was relatively popular. Last year it was relatively popular. Circuit City
was MySpace in 2007.
Yeah, I think when MySpace kind of went away, it felt bad. I mean, well, it's still around, but I mean, if anybody honestly goes onto that thing, I don't even know who or what still pays money to host that thing, because it's like, History of Violence is the last ever VHS released. It's pretty interesting.
2006 was the last time. I guess that is true. Last time you could still rent movies from Blockbuster without it seeming out of place.
Mm-hmm. I think I have 1 or 2 movies that I actually purchased from them.
More offensive to the... Well, I have plenty of stuff.
Yeah.
I bought like 1 season of 24 from them. Previously viewed.
Mm-hmm.
This last episode of Evangelion airs in the U.S. That's just... Get the fuck off this list.
Last episode of Ghost in the Shell. Last episode of Hi Hi Puffy Ami Yumi. Symbolizing
Evangelion didn't have much of an impact on American television.
No.
Nobody.
Well, here's the thing.
Talks about
I
that.
have this version of this particular infograph. I guess you could call it infograph saved. But I know that there's been multiple versions of this graph appearing. Every so often on 4chan, so it's always subject to be kind of changed and stuff like that. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a refined, finalized version of that up until a certain point.
I assumed that this was an academic graph that had been released. Anyway, how was your Thanksgiving, Alex?
It was an interesting Thanksgiving. It was the very first Thanksgiving I ended up overseeing myself and making a turkey on my own. We had a 21-pound bird, which we ended up doing in the oven, roasting. We had mashed potatoes. We had what else did we make? Turkey and mashed potatoes. We probably made something. I think we made some rolls of some sort. I can't quite remember.
It wasn't that long ago.
It was a week ago, but I've eaten so much turkey. Like we ended up freezing some of it, and then Erica was like, "Hey, I found this recipe for a turkey chowder." And we did that in a crock pot, and it came out really, really good and stuff. But we still have like an entire breast left in the freezer and stuff. So it was kind of uneventful. We watched a lot of Toy Story because it's all my son wants to watch now is every single episode, every single Toy Story film. But his favorite one is the third one because that's the one where Ken lives in the dream house and he just does like the fashion show and he dances and there's music. So Nicholas wants to dance around and play. And he holds like, he holds, what do you call those things? Lincoln Logs. And he uses them as like glow sticks at a club. It's really weird.
You should buy him some glow sticks at the dollar store.
I should.
They sell that shit for cheap.
They do. Cheap, and in bulk. How was yours?
My Thanksgiving was very nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But I did get into a conversation about the most popular Thanksgiving side dishes. I realize we're 2 weeks too late to having this conversation.
Yeah.
But
Christmas is coming, so
Better Homes and Gardens. I know it's like traditionally it'd be like basically the same fucking meal.
Yeah.
To do.
Yeah. With
Christmas
ham
and
instead of
Thanksgiving.
turkey. Yeah.
See, and I had ham. My mom took pity on me, and because we just ordered food, she ordered ham and macaroni and cheese for me.
Oh, was it Virginia or was sugar ham?
I don't know. What's the difference?
Well, was it sweet or was it more of a savory type of dry type of smoking of the ham?
Alex, I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea. I mean, it wasn't honey ham.
Wasn't
if
like
that's
a honey
what you
ham
mean.
or sugar. Okay. So there wasn't like a sweetness to it or anything.
Not particularly.
Okay,
I mean,
probably
hams are always kind of sweet.
They naturally do. Yeah. Sometimes there's a little bit more than
Put. I don't know all the answers to
I
your
don't know either.
questions, Alex. You're putting me on the spot.
Anyways, please continue. Yes.
Well, it's funny because the mac and cheese was pretty blah.
Okay.
And apparently the stuffing was pretty blah to my mom. My mom hated the stuffing, actually. So all in all, it was a very meh meal.
Mm-hmm.
But the next night we got Japanese food, and I had wonderful nabiyaki udon.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. That's a wintertime thing. Did it come in a little like stone earthenware pot?
We can't eat there, Alex.
I know, but I
yes, they brought it out in a stone pot and then poured it into styrofoam for me. If you eat it at the plate, then yes, it's okay. It's more of like the sukiyaki pot.
Yeah.
But so I enjoyed that much more than the rest of the meal. But I was looking at what came up was the most popular Thanksgiving side dishes, and there's like a Better Homes and Gardens has a poll based on states.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the interesting things are stuff like, so you get like a lot of mashed potatoes, which is Illinois, for example, mashed potatoes is the big one, which is big in California, Nevada. And then you get into the weird green bean casserole part of the country.
Yeah, it's isn't that more of a southern thing?
Kind of. I mean, there is Tennessee, Texas, Florida. Mm-hmm. No, Florida's sweet potato casserole.
Oh, that stuff is good.
I guess they just broke this up by casseroles. I'm looking at the colors. So you got your green bean casserole, your sweet potato casserole, your broccoli casserole. That's in Kentucky. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, God. The whiskey people like broccoli casserole. My kid would probably like it. But...
Do you know the difference between stuffing and dressing?
Stuffing goes inside the bird, and dressing is on the outside of the bird.
Look at Alex's big brain. I didn't know that. I had to ask my mom because she kept saying dressing, and I looked at her blankly, and she'd be like, the stuffing. Hand me the stuffing. And I'd be like, why are you calling it dressing? Yeah. And then she explained it to me, and I was questioning how I made it 37 years without knowing this.
Yeah.
I thought she was just fucking with me.
I don't know. She was just probably upset about the stuffing and stuff. She's like, I bought it. I guess I better eat it. I have heard the thing about stuffing that like when you make it, you shouldn't put it in the turkey because it gets really bad and it dries out the bird and whatnot. But I do know there's lots of people who still do the turkey with the stuffing. So I'm wondering if it's just the manner that they do.
My grandmother did both. It was because the stuffing always came out. The stuff inside the bird was mushier.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so it was sort of like pick your poison. You want your mushy stuffing or your dry dressing, I guess.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't like any of it. Not my, too much gravy involved on Thanksgiving also.
Yeah, we did make a homemade gravy, but I think what happened is that we added too much fat to it or something. We did something where it was less gravy and more just like this paste like gruel. But
that sounds awful.
But there was so much. I think the thing was also that there's such a large amount of fat in that particular batch that we made, where you have to when you put it in the fridge, it kind of solidifies. That when you then heat it up in the microwave, then it kind of like dissolves. It's an interesting thing. I don't know what we made, but it was great on the sweet corn and potato. Oh, that's what we had. We had sweet corn, which we had picked over the summer.
That's nice. Corn is big in. I'm doing that's Nebraska. What is that? Iowa. Corn is big in Iowa.
Corn is big in Iowa. Yeah. So.
We got rolls. Rolls are big.
Rolls is an interesting. I don't know.
Missouri.
I wouldn't think of it as a side dish. I think it would be more of a compliment.
Yeah, it's just like a.
It was like crackers when you go to a restaurant. They give you crackers with your little cup of soup.
Right. It doesn't count as a side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not a dish.
Are pickles a side?
To Nicholas, it is. It's also the main. It's also the main meal.
We've all been there, Nicholas. We've all been there where the jar of pickles are the main dish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, and so have you ever heard of? And this is why this whole thing came up for me. Macaroni and cheese as a side dish for Thanksgiving.
That one threw me for a loop because I was like, I think I saw the same map that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. When I saw it, I was thinking that's kind of a year-round thing, but I'm guessing maybe people make a special type of like macaroni and cheese casserole where they put like the breadcrumbs on top so it toasts up. I have never really seen it at Thanksgiving because that's not what my mom would make. So, I'm surprised yams aren't on there. I mean, I know sweet potato casserole is, but not like just straight up yams because my mom would make like yams.
What's a yam? Is a yam a sweet potato?
It's a different type of tuber, I believe.
Different type of tuber?
Yeah.
What's a tuber?
They're like
what's a tuber?
Tuber shaped like potatoes. like tubers, sweet potatoes.
They're called tubers?
Yeah, I think yams are they're more densely packed than sweet potatoes are, which are more stringy.
This is not just something you made up. This is a real term.
Yeah.
Tuber vegetables. How do you know these things? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Also known as root vegetables.
So like carrots,
root
parsnips, beets.
Well, yeah, because they're roots. That makes sense. Tubers. That is not.
Culture,
tubers is a.
There's a reason why we're called Culture Doom as a program.
Tuber has to be some kind of regional term.
I guess. I mean,
you grew up with the term tuber.
Yes, which is a staple food in tropical regions of Central Africa, West Africa, and Oceania.
They call New Zealand uses the term tuber.
I don't use it in day-to-day speak, but I know that's...
Did your mom use that term?
No.
Oh, so this is just you being weird.
Yeah. You should know this.
Well, I don't know. I can't keep up with what's...
Baby.
I can't keep up with what's Alex weird and with what's Finyak weird. Your son's dancing with Lincoln Logs.
Lincoln Logs sticks.
You're talking about tubers. I can't keep the family together.
Yeah.
I don't know what's what.
But yeah, yams are basically like huge looking compared to like sweet potatoes.
Nice.
Yeah.
The Chad yam.
The Chad yam.
And the virgin potato.
But my mom would make like, because she would get like, around the holidays, you find when you go to the supermarket, you only see like these foods that only appear within that one time of the calendar season. So you get kind of like this giant can of yams that are in like a syrup of some sort. So she would get that, and then she'd also make with that. She'd kind of like saute them, and then she'd add, I think it's peaches, and then cranberries, and she would make this kind of like holiday medley type of stuff, and it was this simply amazing type of thing that she makes. And then it's good because then you have your dinner rolls, which is another side dish apparently. And then she would make crescent rolls a lot of time. So you just kind of take the crescent roll and dip it in the sauce there, and sop it with a biscuit and all that. It was fantastic stuff.
Sop it with a biscuit.
Sop it with a biscuit.
Sounds delicious.
It is.
Well, I'm glad that you had an adequate Thanksgiving in spite of everything. I would argue that the traditional Thanksgiving meal is bullshit anyway, and that there's virtually nothing on your table that matches what was going on when the Pilgrims arrived. They were eating quail and duck.
Quail and duck's good. Quail's...
Yeah, but that's not... So I would rather have quail or duck also.
You'd have to eat a lot of quails to get a good amount of food. Maybe 3, I would say.
Oh my God, Alex.
Half a duck.
Maybe
duck is
12.
12 quails.
No, I've gotten a quail at like a gastropub back when that was a thing. It was plenty of meat. With a side of like carrots.
Oh, okay. That's
roasted carrots and some
tubers.
Some tubers.
Maybe some wild potatoes. Fingerlings.
It takes a whole new meaning to Tuber Simulator now. Jesus.
But yeah, like duck. I've had duck on a couple occasions, and I do enjoy the duck.
Duck's good, but it's rich.
It is rich. It's the meat. I mean, even if it's like farm raised duck, it's still going to have that natural gamey poultry flavor, along with like greasiness. The goose is going to be more fatty because of just the way that geese are. They tend to be.
It's thick geese.
What are you drinking tonight, by the way?
I am drinking. The last episode we did, we were talking about beer, and I was saying how much I enjoyed Asahi. And so on my way home from work, I picked up a 6-pack of Asahi.
Ah, kampai.
Hi. How about you?
I am actually drinking Orval Trappist Ale this evening, made by the monks there in Belgium.
Wait, is this
Trappist monks?
This is not the one you had last time?
No, this is a completely different one.
Yeah, you had a gauche.
Rittersberg Gauche, I think it was.
Yeah.
Ritterberg. But yeah, this is Brunnenbad de Brasserie Dorval in Belgium.
I got into this discussion with my mother again.
A woman, yes.
A woman
that gave you life. But
at one point, at one time, she was a woman.
Yes.
Now she's my mom.
Yes.
She was telling me, she made a comment about how I should consider holding doors for opening the car door for a girl still.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't think that that's still a thing, Mom. And she was like, I think it should be. So you should go for it. And I thought, I don't think that that's... I think that a young lady in 2020 would be weirded out, unless they're carrying a bunch of stuff or whatever, unless there's a mitigating circumstance where it would just be polite in general to open the door for no matter who it was.
Yeah.
To unlock the door of the car just because...
Like holding
open it.
Did she also talk to you about holding the doors open, like to go into buildings and putting your jacket on puddles when they cross the street?
Well, I don't throw my jacket on puddles, but I definitely open the door no matter what for people.
Yeah.
But like unlock it remotely and then open it myself.
I could. Okay, so the only scenario I could see that happening realistically, apart from, you said having stuff in their arms, is when you guys are leaving a place and you open the door for her so she can get in, and then you go around to the driver's side, because if you arrive someplace and you have to park the car, jump out, run around the side of the car, and then open it for her, that's going to be a little too much.
No, it's more coming back to the car.
Yeah, it's definitely more the car.
Getting into the car, not exiting, getting into the car.
Yeah, getting into the car. It depends on, maybe it was fine, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago, 25 years ago, really realistically, but not anymore. I mean, can you do that at an Uber?
I was 12, but when that's true. I mean, well, yeah, I actually probably do hold the door more for girls in an Uber because I open the back door and let them in first, So that makes sense, like a cab. You just...
Right.
But if I'm driving and I'm holding the button and I'm unlocking all of the doors at once, then it doesn't seem like it really fits naturally for me to open the door for them.
Because the other scenario and the other part of this is that they would have to be the type of girl who kind of expects that, or is thinking that the beau she's with is going to do that for her.
I'd probably get yelled at or at least made fun of if I did that to a new girl.
Or get like a weird, like, discerning eye, being like, why I could get out by myself. Like, why are you doing
Alex, you need to try this.
I know, but I'm married, so it's kind of like...
See, you keep using that excuse. You got to try it in spite of the fact, or despite.
Well, she drives everywhere, so I can't really
That's what makes it even more romantic.
It's not romantic.
If you open the door for her to get into drive.
I'm not a footman, and she's not arriving at Downton Abbey.
I'm telling you.
There's also the toddler that has to be pulled out of the back seat.
Oh, well, that's true. The toddler is different.
I always hold the door for him.
It's not that you're married, it's that you're a parent.
See, here's the thing. He does this thing now where it's like, I open up the back door and I get him out of his chair. And then he goes like, no, daddy, I go this way. I'm like, okay. So I close the door and then I run around and I open up the other door because he wants to be like one of the adults and then jump out the side of the door.
Oh, the side that you don't get out on?
Yes. I'm like, good evening, sir. I have your slippers and evening paper along with a lovely sherry. He's like, thank you, daddy.
I thought you were going to say that he wanted Erica to help him out and not daddy.
He does. He kind of wants like help because he's still kind of small, so it's hard for him to like get out of the back. So he kind of wants like somebody to...
Is he like 8 feet tall now?
Yeah. And
he's like the giant baby in Honey, I Blew Up the Kid or something.
But he needs like help getting out, so he needs to have a hand stepping out of the stagecoach. But then when he climbs in, he's like, no, daddy, I do it myself. And I'm like, all right, fine, climb in. And he starts playing with his little, like, quote unquote, smartphone. It's just a toy. It would work better for you because you don't have kids and you're not married. And you also drive your own car. So,
wait, letting me in? Wait, what? What are you talking about? What would work better for me?
You doing this for girls? as opposed
First,
to me.
I thought you meant me playing with the smartphone would work better.
No.
Then I thought you meant you opening the door for me would work better.
Yeah. No. Like, meaning, like, it would work better for you if you were to open up the door for the girl. I mean, I have to use the phrase, but if society was still kind of like the olden times, like the 1950s, and it was like you're going to the sock hop, or, you know,
I went to sock hops.
Like a real sock hop, like back then, like,
Yes, no, I understand.
you know,
With
or
like
you're going to the
roller skates.
yeah, or going to the malt shop or something like that for like some hamburgers, and you're going to share a milkshake with 2 straws and stuff like that. You know, it doesn't work like that.
Well, let me ask you this: when you were dating Erica, did you open the door for her?
No.
Okay. How embarrassing.
Well, I've also been married for 7 years now, so I guess it's
but you've known Erica for like 30 years.
since I've been 7.
Yes, it's like she was betrothed to you very early on. No, but you guys have dated for like what, 15 years?
Since 05.
So 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my point, is that you've since 2005.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm getting at is that when I had my original Ford Focus, my black Ford Focus, the OG Brendan Mobile,
I was thinking the same thing.
I didn't have power locks, and so I had to physically put the key in and unlock the door. And for that car, I definitely, when I was dating, would open the door for the girl all 199% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I would do that. I would not open it when I was pissed off. That's how you knew that I was like being passive aggressive.
Yeah.
I'm going to make my statement, but by not opening the door to the car.
So it really boils down to if you have power locks or not.
That's what I feel like.
So I'm guessing then, are power locks just standard now on vehicles?
Yeah. I mean, aside from, I'm not trying to diminish anyone's vehicle, but I would assume that aside from the lowest end vehicles, they're standard. I don't know. Let's look. What's the cheapest? What, a Kia? What's a cheap car right now? Daewoo?
Kia Rio, if they still make that, or a Nissan.
Can you still buy Daewoo cars? No, 2002
no.
was the last Daewoo. Power door locks are standard on the 2020 Rio LX, which is $15,850. So yes, that's what makes a difference to me. I don't know, audience, if you have different thoughts on how you determine on if you should be opening up the door for your significant other, feel free to contact at culturedoom.com. Feel free to email contact@culturedoom.com and let us know what you think.
Yeah. Is chivalry dead? If not, should you go ahead and open up the door for your lady friend or man friend?
A man friend. I definitely would
or
feel...
a corgi friend.
Well, yeah. I mean, corgis, they can't reach those locks. They need more than the door open.
You might have to open the door for them and also lift them into the vehicle.
They need a bit of a lift. What was I going to say about chivalry? Oh, I definitely would feel emasculated if a woman insisted on opening the door for me. The car door. Not a door.
You might be in for a little
door.
bit of Amazon position fun later on.
What does that mean?
Isn't that like a sex position? There's like the Amazon.
I said I would feel emasculated.
Well,
I don't want to.
There'll
feel
be more
emasculated.
emasculation coming later on that night.
No, we've talked about this before. That sex position is you're one step above cuckdom. Pegging. Yeah, you're one step before pegging.
Speaking of pegging, so I went and put my son to bed last night, and I came into the bedroom, and Erica was watching. She was watching Deadpool, and
it's a famous scene.
Yeah, and I came in there. I'm like, I missed the pegging scene, didn't I? And she kind of smiled and then just kept on knitting.
That's what you can get Erica for Christmas.
A strap-on.
A strap-on. Add some spice.
Come on,
after two kids.
Yeah.
It's not much. You've gone everywhere you can go, but she hasn't.
Nor will she.
All right. Whatever. Some of us have evolved higher.
Oh, like opening doors for ladies?
Insisting, I will open this door for you.
I will.
Yeah, but then she comes home and pegs me, so it all works out.
Yeah. Win-win.
Yeah, everybody feels masculine.
Everybody feels something.
Everybody. Yeah, well, I feel it on the inside.
I was going to ask you though, did you hear this story about what was I gonna say? Should I do this one? We were talking about women just now. I don't know if I want to talk about women again.
We can keep talking about women.
Well, there was this recently. There was this an MMA fight. In Russia, I guess it was, and it was between a man and a woman. And here's the gimmick about it. It was a gimmick fight, and I think it was for charity or some weird shit or whatever. Anyways, it was fought between a 139-pound woman and a 529-pound man. So here's the thing with it. On paper, there's two types of on paper. On paper, you think, oh yeah, the guy's just going to completely destroy her and stuff like that because he's like got 400 pounds on her. On paper B, you know that it's like, okay, it's going to be one of those fights where the girl wins because something happens to the guy, because that's how it always is. That's how this narrative is always. Well, you end up watching this fight, and the thing is that the guy can't get into the octagon properly, so he has to kind of roll in there. So they start fighting, and the guy is already heaving and hoeing and stuff like that, and like about to have a cardiac. And she's trying to attack him, to the head, because it's like, okay, well, you can try to get the ankles and the legs, but the problem is if he falls on top of you, it's over with. So go for the head. So he gets her up against the fence, gets a hold on her, standing upright, gets a couple of shots to the midsection, but then the referee calls him to break it off. And that's like, you really don't do that in MMA fighting, so that's already a fucking red flag to begin with. And then what ends up happening is that she takes a couple of shots to him and stuff like that, to the head. He's already about to fucking collapse. And then he ends up like lunging forward. He lunges forward, misses her, and falls flat on his face. And then she jumps on him and starts attacking the sides of his head like you normally do in MMA. And then the referee's like, okay, I got to call it. End of match. So it basically went to kind of gimmicky shit where you kind of see a lot of guys and girls fighting online, quote unquote, and the guy like taps out to the girl and all that stuff. And it's like, because he wanted her to do that. So basically, This whole thing ends up being just completely just...
Oh my God, you're right. He had to roll in. What the fuck is this?
There's a very good John Boy breakdown of it, because there's no baseball right now, so he has to do something. But basically, this is kind of like this whole farce thing where it's like, there's always been this thing about like, when are we going to get to the point now where you're going to have a male and female MMA fighter go against each other? And it's kind of like, well, you probably won't, because you keep on having these gimmicky matches like this that is complete farce, because they're in completely different types of weight classes to begin with.
So, sorry, did you have I have an answer to what you just asked. If you
yes, go ahead.
Want an answer,
yes,
or if you want to keep talking,
no, you can go ahead.
Do that too.
You can go ahead.
What I was going to say is we've already seen what happens in mixed sex MMA. Here's 2018. Here's what happens when you have someone with masculine strength in the same weight class trained to fight against a woman in the same weight class trained to fight. Mm-hmm. Transgender MMA fighter Fallon Fox breaks opponent's skull.
Yeah, it was an eye socket, orbital socket, I think it was. I think is where it was, or something.
I have struggled with many women. I have never felt the strength I have felt in a fight like that night. I can't answer whether it's because she was born a man or not, because I'm not a doctor. I can only say that I have never felt so dominated in all my life, and that I am an abnormally strong woman in my own right. So there you go. Yeah. That's what happens. Ready to bring the party down, Alex.
Yeah. Well, the other thing...
Maybe I brought the party down.
No, well, it was also another thing about, like, just, like, they've been trying... there's always been discussion about, like, male and female parity and parity, like, not, like, parity.
Parity. Yeah. I knew what you were saying.
And it was just... Most recently, also another case was there was a Vanderbilt college football game where they actually had, I think she was the goalkeeper for the women's soccer team, come on to the football team and try to kick a kickoff, even though I think Vanderbilt was like losing by like 40 points or something like that. And it was kind of like seen as like this spectacle thing because she comes on, she just line drives it, and then that was basically it. And I believe the story goes the coach got fired. There were some other things around, like the team is horrendous or something like that. But it was kind of like, why did you bring this person on there when you had another person on campus or the punter that could have done this? It was just seen kind of like this as a spectacle of a sort. And I kind of see this is the same thing too, which, yeah, you can have females play in some positions on pretty much all men's sports teams to an extent. But when you start trying to bring them into other positions on sports teams, it might not be the best outcome. I'm just saying that because I noticed that there's been like over the past decade a major push to kind of do something like this.
No, anyone who's ever been in this situation knows that it's a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
Like anyone who's being honest with themselves understands this. And I'm not saying that I could beat up an MMA female fighter. My head would explode. It'd be like that scene in Ricky O.
Which one?
Oh, any of the ones where the guy's head breaks in half. So yeah, I don't think that this needs to happen.
Okay.
Aside from there being spectacles like this,
yeah,
where it's clearly not serious.
And I know that like that's kind of how it's going to have to be, because I know that there are proponents of this and they are very vocal and they try to use every type of outlet to try to get this cause across and stuff. But, you know, a lot of times this might be something that doesn't work. I know like in Little League or Pee Wee football, it kind of works a little bit better because, you know, at that point, everybody, like boys and girls are kind of about the same in terms of like athletic prowess. But you know, at like once high school shows up, it's a completely, you know, different type of.
I don't understand why there's this issue of acknowledging that people are different. I don't. It's just like so unnecessarily controversial.
I don't know either. I don't know.
Let's take a break, and when we come back, Alex,
yes.
You know what we need to do?
What do we need to do?
We need to hear from our favorite guest star, Professor Alex.
I must have the wrong house.
Sister?
Oh, I missed you so much.
They waited up all night for you, you know.
It's a long way from West Africa.
Oh, real coffee.
He's here.
I brought you something from far away.
Really? Oh.
What are you doing?
You're my present this year.
The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Culture Doom. And when we left off, I believe it was time for our favorite factoid aficionado to make an appearance.
You're absolutely right, Brendan. It is time, once again, for this week's Professor Alex's Fascinating Factoids and Other Such Trivia.
Oh, once again, I can't believe it feels like it's been such a long time since I've heard from you, Professor Alex.
Brought to you by Borax.
Borax.
This week's sponsor is Borax.
Okay. That was very
Or
unexpected.
Wheat Thins, one of the two. Don't eat either.
No.
Oh, well, just one of the
Borax.
two.
I like Wheat Thins.
Eat one, snort the other.
See, Wheat Thins are fine on their own.
Mm-hmm.
What's the other one?
Triscuits.
Triscuits need topping.
What about the ones that have like the like cracked black pepper or the garden vegetable Triscuits?
For the Triscuits?
Yeah, some of the Triscuits have flavoring.
They still are way better with like a slice of cheese on them. Or maybe a really finely constructed tuna salad.
Oh, like a little canapé.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Niles. You know exactly what I mean. What am I talking about?
I still wear
Fraser and
suits like
Niles
it's
would
the
not be having
90s.
tuna salad on anything.
You know what's funny is that my suits are still like I put on my
Cut.
suits and
They're
they're cut. Yeah, they're still a 90s cut because I think that's pretty much all that Kohl's sells.
No, that's not true. You can get contemporary suits at Target for $50.
I don't shop at Target.
Oh, I forgot. Target's too fancy for you.
Too pretentious for me.
Maybe what? How much are suits at Brooks Brothers?
Brooks Brothers. I don't think we have one down here.
Well, next time you come to Chicago, we'll go to Brooks Brothers.
Just for
We
the
used to
fuck
walk
of it.
by them. No, well, they get you a suit.
Can I help you, gentlemen, with
sharp.
anything? Yeah, just looking. Do you have
You'll be like,
a
Brendan
Niles
keeps-
Crane cut suit here?
Brendan. Well, Niles Crane's suit was '90s cut suits.
So beautiful.
They wore a lot of double-breasted suits in Frasier.
Mm-hmm.
Not a thing really anymore. Let's see, 50% off. Men's suits. Milano fit 3-button plaid. Nah, that's too much. Here, $84.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll get you an off-the-shelf, off-the-rack.
Can I get a
Brooks
fitted?
Brothers.
Can I request the most swarthy Italian elderly man with the largest cuppage hands?
Yeah, you can get like a nice.
You can check my inseam.
Brooks Brothers isn't like cheap.
Comforting
It's just
touch.
not. It's just not.
It's not a
here's-
department store type of thing.
Well, I mean, they have, the $1,200 suits.
Yeah, that's not me.
Here's a six. Here's $600.
Does it come with RGB?
$600, 50% off. You son of a bitch! Shut up. I'm trying to make you presentable. Get you a nice gray wool suit for winter.
Oh, that sounds cozy. Just wear that and nothing else next to fire with a nicely aged sherry.
You just wear the suit jacket and pants, no shirt or tie.
Yeah.
No, actually, you keep the tie.
No, you know what I do? Those stupid douchey things where you wear like the graphic tee underneath it, and then like a pair of like sneakers or some shit.
Sneakers are fine, but I agree with you. I agree with you that the t-shirt was never really my thing.
No.
Even
And
in
then
the
I cinch up the sleeves of the jacket.
I'll send you some samples.
Enough room
okay?
for like a chest holster.
That's a different look. All right, Professor Alex, this isn't Fashion Corner.
Okay, I thought it was. Anyways, I'm terribly mistaken. Anyways, first factoid of this week is regarding King Charles XII of Sweden. King Charles in 1718, while he was in the trenches of one of his war campaigns, ended up being struck in the head by a projectile and thus dying from it. The shot was told by the autopsy as entering the left side of his temple and then exited directly through the right. It also then caused automatic death to him, and thus, because of the shock, he ended up gripping his sword with his right hand and covering the wound with his left.
This is, and that's the factoid.
That is the factoid.
Is this like a famous pose of his?
Yes, supposedly
Okay.
that was the way he was found when he was found dead.
It's a pretty gallant way to die.
It is. It is. Pretty much what was interesting about Charles XII also on a side note is that I don't believe he actually did much within country. Most of his life was actually just spent on military campaigns for the most part, kind of similar to Alexander the Great.
So he was just like spreading the will of the country,
Of the Swedish people.
of the Swedish people.
Yes.
Good for him.
Our second factoid of the week is regarding Zoroastrianism. And the religion of Zoroastrianism is believed to date back to the 2nd millennium BC. However, official recorded history of it is showing up in about the 5th century BC.
That is an interesting factoid, Professor.
In case anybody asks or wonders. Yeah.
Hey, get ready for Jeopardy.
They'll never have these questions on Jeopardy. And the next fascinating factoid regards a war between Canada and the United States. No, it's not the War of 1812. It's actually the lesser-known Pacific Salmon War. It was a series of heightened tensions between Canadian and American salmon catching fleets beginning in the early 90s, which ended up occurring after the Pacific Salmon Treaty of 85 ended up expiring, and until there was a new treaty that occurred in 1999, many of these types of sailing fishing vessels between the Americans and the Canadians ended up fighting against each other in terms of kind of going past each other, sailing past each other, shouting, yelling, throwing objects at each other's boat, basically to fight over salmon fishing rights within that Alaskan and British Columbian area.
Those filthy fucking Canucks.
Yes. Well, they even went as far as to go and close down ferry services to several Alaskan islands, which were being operated by Canadian vessels. So,
how was this resolved?
Basically, there was a series of court cases that took place in the late 90s and early 2000s, but there was a new agreement that ended up being signed in June of 2001, which kind of basically just kind of settled the situation between Canadians and Americans at that point.
So it was a bloodless war.
Yes.
That's fortunate for the Canadians.
Yes, it is. The only thing that was damaged was personal pride on the Canadian side. This was this week's fascinating factoids and other such trivia. Not all of these are sorry. Not all of these are just like
a Freudian slip right there.
Most of this was interesting kind of trivia or information.
This has turned into Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Shit, we're gonna have the FBI come by and investigate this.
Hey, you keep this up, Alex. There might be shitty museums in Wisconsin Dells modeled after you.
Oh gosh, that's gonna be awesome. I just want to be right next to Tommy Bartlett's. That's all I ask for.
I was at Tommy Bartlett's not that long ago.
How was Tommy Bartlett's?
I wasn't actually at the show. I was at the restaurant across the street from the show, and so we all watched the show for free.
Nice.
Right down to their pathetic NASA shuttle that shoots sparks out the back. It was the saddest thing.
Imagine being the guy who actually sets up those sparklers every single day.
Yeah, they're like, we can't
Takes so much pride in his job.
Just
He's
like
this is gonna be the
500
best sparklers ever.
and a blowtorch.
Where it's at. Boom, boom, boom. Got 5 sparklers.
You know what? This is a very esoteric thing for me to reference, but
Yes.
I really, really, really loved, and I would, if I could figure out how to collect these, I would.
Mm-hmm.
But when you would go to a shitty hotel in like Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and you turn on the TV, and Channel 0 was just this loop of travel law, like local travel advertising.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? So they'd be like, come on down to Cheryl's Cafe where we make the best eggs and ham in all of Gatlinburg. You come on down and say that Cheryl sent you and we'll give you 25% off your first egg. Cheryl's Cafe. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then it'd be like cut to black for like 30 seconds and then be like, here at the Meemaw house, we love to have photography and come on down and get your Meemaw photo with Grandma. Meemaw's photography at the corner of Wisconsin Dells and Main Street.
17th Street.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I loved those. I fucking loved those
Like
videos.
the local type of ad things.
I would stare at them all night long.
There's
And
probably YouTube channels that
I've looked-
have just like local stuff like
I
that.
found a tiny sliver of the lost media, which is local travel videos. The closest thing I have to evoking the feeling of that is on John Hodgman Book on Tape. He does a little section that sounds exactly like that, right down to the music, and I listen to it to fall asleep to because it's so comforting. But
Yeah, another thing that you can also do, my dad would do this all the time. We would go best example is every single like summer that we would go to Disney World. Like every place we stopped, he would get out, whatever, and he would just grab like a handful of just like advertising pamphlets at those racks for shit that we would never see.
Oh, yeah,
and he'd always
sure.
come back to the car and be like, I got a couple of these. Some of these look really good and stuff like that. My mom's just like, she'd be sitting there like, and we'd be in the minivan, and there's this growing stack of just paperwork between his seat and her seat.
oh, the minivan. That's adorable.
Yeah, and then oh god, I'm kind of I didn't want the minivan when I was younger, but now now I'm thinking, I'm remembering back all those memories and stuff. I'm thinking like, yeah, the minivan's going to be great when I have like family and road trips and stuff, because it's going to be so much easier to go and pack shit in the back trunk instead of like trying to cram stuff.
Do you have a minivan?
No, we just have the SUV and the sedan.
SUV is like the minivan for cool parents. I mean, the SUV is the minivan for cool parents.
Well, the problem is if you want to get the SUV with the minivan storage capacity, you have to get the massive like $52,000 types of SUVs, and we're not going to be able to do that.
Get an Escalade. Come on.
No. 2008 called, and
That's true. That's true. Do they even sell Escalades anymore?
I believe they do. I don't know anybody who still has them. I think the only Escalades I've seen are ones they're like 6-year-old models. It's kind of like when you see a random Hummer H2 in the area.
They have
like, holy fuck.
2021 Escalade starts at $76,000.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
CT4 starts at $33,000, which is not. I mean, it's starting at is bad.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's only going to go higher.
Yeah, $40,000 for the. It's a nice looking fucking sedan, though. I when the CTSs came out in, what was that, 2002, 2003.
Mm-hmm.
Those things were fucking baller.
You know, for a person who doesn't really talk much about cars, you certainly do know a lot about cars.
I love cars. I really wanted a Subaru.
WRX.
Yeah. I really wanted that, but it was too much. And my mom didn't want a Subaru, so the package deal fell apart. Anyway, what?
No, I was just saying that I remember it was like of those two, like those rally cars that were kind of geared towards the mass market, whereas like the Lancer, Mitsubishi Lancer, and then the WRX were the two.
Hey, when we sell Culture Doom to Lucasfilm, not to Disney,
for $5 billion
to Lucasfilm,
we'll sell it to Lucasfilm, and then Lucasfilm has to send it over to Disney. Mm-hmm. Lucasfilm has the money, Disney does not, even though they're owned by them. But
I don't think either of them have the money. Finally tonight, headline out of New Zealand. Relationship breakdown at Potters Association over dildo workshop. This is a news article that popped up on the internet. Actually, it's from today, so it's actually current. Usually, we're a week or a month behind these news articles. But I think it raises some issues that I think that you and I can discuss. Mm-hmm. This is from stuff.co.nz. A ceramic dildo making workshop has caused a relationship breakdown in the senior ranks of a Wellington Potters Association. Now, at first I thought that this was like a human interpersonal relationship.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's the association. It's the Pottery Group Association. I was really hoping it was like some like some couple went to a dildo making
like a couples retreat type of thing.
Like a couples retreat, dildo workshop, and then the guy watched as she built like a giant black dildo, and he got really pissed off about it or something. And
every couple ends up leaving. They're singles.
Exactly. But no, it's just the politics of the dildo workshop that are at play here.
Dildo politics. Read on, please. I'm intrigued now. It's piqued my interest.
Wellington Potters Association former president Nicole Gaston resigned her position over a disagreement over the workshop, leaving the club without anybody in the top spot.
How many people are in this club that they need to have a president?
It's an association, Alex. Do not
dismiss
it as a club.
Is that a Commonwealth term? I don't know. Us boony rebel farmers, us moisture farmers out here.
The drama started when Gaston raised the idea to the association's committee that visiting Mexican artist Isa Lozano could host workshops where members could learn how to create dildos using mixed techniques such as wheel throwing and hand building.
Gaston did nothing wrong.
As a thermo-hypoallergenic, easy to sterilize, and resistant material, ceramic sex toys are fun, beautiful, safe, and suitable for all bodies, an advertisement on the now canceled event said. However, the advertisements were abruptly pulled after Gaston said several senior members of the committee objected to it going ahead. Gaston felt the situation was, quote, a huge injustice. There's lots of phallic dialogue in this. As several members of the association had written letters in support of the event to the committee, which Stuff has seen, which the magazine, the website has seen. Blah, blah, blah. People were offended. Other people were not. The committee said it was surprised when Gaston approached it with the proposal to run the dildo workshop, and some members expressed concerns about, quote, the content of the workshop and how it would be taken by the membership at large. Okay, so blah blah blah. You get the gist.
Right.
Here's what I find hilarious. This is what you fall on your sword for, your large blunt sword.
Your thick, pulsing, veiny sword.
You know what I mean? This is where you're like, this is too much. The visiting Mexican artist should be allowed to teach the women of the community how to make ceramic dildos. And if you won't allow that, I quit. That's so strange. You're looking for a fight. Because a normal, rational person would be like, hey, everybody, I think this would be a really fun thing for the ladies in our community to be a part of. We have an artist who's willing to do it with people.
Yeah.
What do
Bring
you guys
your box
think?
wine, have a girls' night out.
Exactly. Bring your box wine, make a bunch of dildos, have fun, blah, blah, blah. What do you guys think? And then the committee goes, no, we are not that kind of a pottery committee. We do not make ceramic dildos at this pottery committee. The Wellington Potters Association will not be associated with this.
This is Kiwis, right?
Yeah, these are the New Zealanders.
Ah, geez, what is up with them? They are just so.
But then, so a normal, rational person would say, "Okay, I get it. I get why you don't want to be a part of this." Not say, "I quit. You won't let the ladies in here make their dildos. I cannot abide that."
Maybe the most you should do is like maybe kind of distance or disassociate this association from this workshop in a sense. I guess if that's what you want to do, but. Don't try to make it bigger than it is with you trying to be this, martyr or something like that.
Yeah, it's the martyrdom aspect of it that's so manufactured.
Because that's probably what even prompted this particular article to come out, like the actual person stepping down in a harumph type of manner.
I just don't understand why people care enough to make pottery dildos.
I don't know. How much clay would they need?
It depends on what you're into.
That's true.
It could be a little bit, could be a lot of it.
Has anybody actually made like a triple-ended dildo?
Well, now you know what I'm doing.
Or a quad dildo? Because it's always like it's just a single or a double. But they never go to a triple.
Oh, dear Lord.
Like a dildo hydra.
Here we go. It looks like something that would be in a... If you're curious, Alex, it looks like something that would be in an H.P. Lovecraft story.
Oh my gosh, it is. I love the no smoking signs on each tip. Because obviously that's the part that, everything else is.
Here we go.
Here's
an even better one.
22 centimeters.
Oh my Lord.
Why is that? Okay, why are each of these a different length?
Well, it's because it's for 3 different ladies.
Okay. All right, let's take a look at this one.
This is something special.
Oh, boy, it looks like a pencil hole. It's a conversation piece for your coffee table. When
It's it's an art piece more so. But look at the head. Read the title of this product, please.
Dildo, the Great American Challenge dildo for triple penetration.
Yeah, this isn't made for 3 ladies.
Oh.
This is made for one lucky lady.
Oh.
There we go.
Because I was trying to figure out, I'm like, how is she going to be able to do that and then also like bend over to get the third? Okay.
I like how there's a different texture on each of the heads.
Yes, you're
It's
right.
interesting. And it's you got like a really glossy,
You have
soft one.
You have the
got-
Stahlhelm, you have the Vader, and then you have the textured Vader.
the textured Vader. I never heard that before.
Well, that's what every single time when you look at it. Okay, look at the black one. Where's the black one?
The black one's not very impressive. I'm going to be honest.
I know, but when you look at the black one,
Yeah.
there's one from the side.
To be clear,
there's the
everyone,
glossy
these
one
are
in the
not-
middle.
These are not like black American, black
No.
human.
No,
these
it's
are
just-
literally jet black.
Yeah, it's purple, brown, and black. Like these are the color. It's just a single. But like when you look at the glossy black one in the center in that one picture that's fully erect, it looks like Darth Vader. Remember, it's a film for kids. I want everybody to remember that.
The black one looks very much like "Don't ever talk to me or my sons ever again." Oh, this reminds me, since we're talking about this, so yeah, like the lady in New Zealand, calm down about your dildo workshop. It's like, I'm sorry you didn't get to make your ceramic dildos, but it's not worth falling on your sword for. It's not worth impaling yourself over.
Mm-hmm.
There was a thread on the internet, a certain website, I won't say which one, about when it's appropriate for a kid to order a sex toy on the internet.
I would probably go on. Do you want my opinion on that?
Well, you actually have a kid.
Yes.
So in the distant when he's like 32,
I will give him I will give him my Discover card when he's 7.
Dear Lord.
I'm joking. No.
I'd give my kid a Discover card when he's 65 and living in my basement. So.
Well, you've heard of those videos that they have on YouTube where they're like the parents talking to like their kids about masturbation, and like some
direct,
of these,
like
yes,
to the kid. No, I
Yes.
have not seen this.
okay, and these kids
Send
are
me a
like,
link. I need some entertainment this evening.
uh,
I don't even know how to search for this. I'll let you send me a link. I'm not going to skew my YouTube search.
Interesting. That video it was one of those, like those type of channels that, you know, usually expect that type of shit with them. Anyways, but they were talking
Questionable Russian channels.
No. Well, if they were questionable foreign, I would say at least Canadian or something like that. But yeah, anyways, it was kind of like
the original Cuties videos on the Russian channels.
yeah. Basically, it's kind of like, you know, these are like tweens and they're talking, or even younger than that possibly, and they're like talking about like, this is a vibrator and this is a dildo and you're a single parent.
Yeah. I saw it. It's like a professional video.
It was not it was professionally done, but it's more like the parents are sitting on a couch with the kid.
Yeah,
and
that's
they're
what I
talking
mean.
about it. Yeah. And I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, this kid probably just wants to go and watch like TikTok videos on their Kindle. They really don't want to be dealing with this. They probably feel really awkward.
Yeah.
Being in front of a camera.
Yeah,
It's
cut.
like, don't. Yeah.
Why would you do this?
And everybody knows it never goes away from the internet. You can scrub this shit. You can have legal takedowns all you fucking want. It's going to be mirrored someplace, and it's always going to be on there and stuff.
No,
like
these
that.
videos are still
They're still on.
Yeah, well, it's the birds and the bees. Parents explain. Cut is the channel.
Okay.
This is too awkward to watch. I already had to close it.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, and the thing is like, these parents are just so like nonchalant about it, which tells me it's like, okay, these parents are going to be nonchalant about practically everything and stuff like that. But
When
when
you're explaining sex to Nicholas, I want there to be trumpets and like an entire PowerPoint or whatever the equivalent, like a 3D PowerPoint presentation.
paper bag of just nudie magazines.
Well, or that.
All
I
from,
guess
like,
that's the
1998.
opposite- That's literally the opposite of what I was talking about. I would just if I had a kid, I would just take the approach my family took, which was basically figure it out for yourself.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Which is
Look at
actually
how I
pretty
turned
good.
out.
I think you're fine. As I hear your glasses clinking in the background. But so in terms of purchasing those things online,
Yes, that's what this was about.
I think it probably would have to be the same as purchasing anything online, where they have to be like legal age, which would be probably 18, because they are the ones that have to put in a credit card number, and you have to be 18, I believe, to have a credit card.
Well, you can buy those prepaid Visa cards now. Very easy to be a 14-year-old
true,
boy
yeah.
and buy a special product on
That
the
is
internet.
true.
Have it. But I mean, what it's going to be with your kids is the kid who bought the bong, and his mom was like, "What did you buy? What is that? Let me see." And then he awkwardly opens it.
Potpourri
and she-
diffuser.
Exactly. That's what's going to happen, but it's going to be Erica and your son. and his father recommended own a hole.
See here, son. This is a pretty good one because it's got both the length and it's got a fine texture, and it's guaranteed and backed. It's a Tenga brand.
I will put this out there, and this is I'm wrong, and I know it, but I don't care about how wrong I am.
Yeah.
I would definitely not care as much about finding my 14-year-old son with an own a hole. Finding my 14-year-old son's own a hole would not bother me as much as finding my 14-year-old daughter's ceramic dildo. I'll own that and say, I get it. That is absolutely a double standard, and hopefully my wife or significant other would have the opposite viewpoint. But as a male father, which I guess is the phrasing you have to do these days, as a father, I would be more aghast at finding my daughter's dildo than finding my son's own a hole. I would laugh more. I would laugh if I found my kid's fake vagina than I would. I would cry with the fake penis. Should I work on that?
No, I'd probably be the same too. I think maybe it's because we're guys. And
There's a
that's kind of
fatherly. I think it's a different. I know what it's like to be a 14-year-old boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But 14-year-old girls were still a mystery when I was 14.
Mm-hmm.
And they would still be a mystery when I'm 39. Well, let's say 49 at the rate I'm going. No. 55 at the rate I'm going. When I'm 55, a 14-year-old girl will still be as terrifying to me as she was when I was 14, right? Mm-hmm. So being in allegedly a position of authority and mentorship and finding a strap-on, Jesus, finding a dildo in her room, I would be back to being a scared 14-year-old, I think, in that particular situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'd have to see what my wife would think about this scenario. Like if we had a daughter and she found a dildo or vibrator or something in her room, as opposed to like an own a hole in Nicholas's room, or like his brother's like own a hole like collection.
Well, at least you'll have two. Like if I had a brother, we could like just go in halvesies on an own a hole.
Yeah. I'm wondering if like eventually like his collection, like my kid's collection would basically become like the Batcave, where just like these hidden panels just flip around or like
don't
down.
Throw your
like
don't throw your
holes.
kids under the bus already.
Or they end up having like an own a hole like wine cellar.
No, it'll be like
2017. It was a good vintage.
It would be like the spy movies where they hide guns under furniture. But they just reach under the coffee table, and there'd be like a duct taped Ona hole underneath it. As Erica's taking 3 Ona holes out and is like, I can't believe you've bought 3 more. And he'll reach under really quick and pull the duct tape down. Mm-hmm. I can't believe I should not be allowed to make these jokes about your
She'll be like pulling out. It's like, oh my god, this one's totally blown out, and I kind of slowly raise my hands.
Oh yeah.
Dibsies.
Well, It's like in the old shows where they would find pot, like on Roseanne, where they thought they found Darlene's pot, and it was actually Roseanne and Dan's pot.
Yeah.
It'll be your own hole.
This is a family learning experience where we're talking about drugs this week. Next week will be alcohol, and then teen pregnancy the following week. And then bullying.
Anyway. Well, I was just curious because there was, there's the usual, you can't tell the difference between the joke responses and the real responses, because there's the response that's like, I'd drag my kid into the front yard and beat them. Mm-hmm. And then there's the, like, I would buy them like 12 more dildos. So it's like, who knows? Who knows?
Just have them planted in the front yard. Yeah. Like, what are those? It's like, oh, it's a special breed of tuber we're growing here.
God. So so listeners, what do you think? If you have or had or are planning to have children, how would you treat their sexual awakening? I would treat it with denial and tears.
All right. So anyways, thank you very much once again, everybody, for clicking on that play button, whatever service you're using, Spotify, iTunes, culturedoom.com, YouTube, wherever we're playing, Google Play, I guess we're on there too.
We're everywhere.
Twitter. If you have any emails to send to us, hopefully not pictures of spent Ona holes or dildos, you can send that stuff to contact@culturedoom.com. This was episode 329. My name is Alex. On behalf of Brendan, I'm saying do побачення until next time. Oh, dildo politics.